Hello and welcome to Bad Taste Video's first ever commentary, Patreon exclusive, for our short music video, Michael Motorcycle, featuring myself, Rocko Zevenbergen, writer, director, and editor of the short.
And me, Brooks Hauser, director of photography.
So happy to kind of come back, revisit this early short, dig into the behind the scenes, how it came together, complications involving the short, and so on and so forth. But let's take it from the top. Kind of started all on the set of Shakespeare's Shitstorm. I was working in New York on Lloyd's newest movie, Lloyd Kaufman, creator of The Toxic Avenger, and I got a call from Derek, lead singer of On Drugs, who had acted previously in Bad Taste Video's first short, Meat Lovers. And he said, Rocko, I want to make a music video for this song, but I kind of just want you to take it, do what you want with it, and, you know, write your own story, shoot your own stuff. As a band, we almost want no involvement in it whatsoever. And I was like, okay, just pay me. And so he paid me a little bit of money to do it. And after working on Shakespeare's Shitstorm, I realized that to really be the most adequate director that I wanted to be, I needed a real crew. I needed a professional crew with titles, and most importantly, I needed a DP. And so onto social media I went, asking very vaguely on my stories, I need help making a video, and if you're interested, hit me up. And that's where Brooks came in.
Yeah, fatefully, I was finishing up my third year of school at the Evergreen State College in Olympia, Washington, and I'd always wanted, of course, to go into movies, but getting together that many people around a central idea was too hard, frankly, and I was intimidated by it. I delved really hard into just still image photography and was content, but had this desire, and one night happened to be drunk enough and had seen that Rocko had put out the call, and here I was hoping to kind of dip my toes in and maybe see how a set runs, and he asked if I wanted to be the director of photography, which scared the shit out of me. But excitedly, I drove down to Portland very soon after, and we met at the Hot Cake House, and he also informed me we were shooting it all on tape, which scared me even more.
Yeah, I was very obsessed with tape cameras at the time and still am to this day. And for anyone who knows, working with tape or any kind of physical medium is always going to be much more of a nightmare than just shooting digitally, having all the luxury of as many takes as you want rather than however much you can fit onto these tiny little cassettes, these little high 8mm cassettes. And yeah, I mean, Brooks coming along and meeting up with me at the Hot Cake House, he absolutely horrified me when I first met him because he had already made an entire, like, was it a whole shot list?
Yeah, it was a whole shot list.
It was a whole detailed shot list of how he was going to shoot the whole thing. He was extremely prepared, and never in my life had I had somebody just who I didn't even, like, remotely know just show up with that much preparation. And I remember walking away from that meeting and being like, oh, I'm going to, like, work with this guy a lot. And
yeah, I remember I had been listening to the song on repeat ever since we had talked and just, yeah, visualized it all. And even though none of it became very useful, it got me into that framework. I was just so excited for the opportunity to help somebody's vision kind of come to life.
Yeah, it was definitely... what I got from that meeting was definitely not what was on that piece of paper, but rather just the energy that went into making that piece of paper and just being like, okay, this guy's serious. He wants to actually do this. And so Brooks very much became my right-hand man on this movie and a lot of basically everything that we would work on ever since then. And this really was the first culmination of the real crew that would come to work on I Need You Dead. Kevin would gaff for us and assistant direct on this as he would on I Need You Dead. I met Kevin on the set of Shakespeare's Shitstorm. He just happened to live in Olympia as well. We were both in New York and met each other there and got along. Watson, old friend of mine, working together at Ben & Jerry's. I mean, Wadi came on set and was our AC and was our AC again throughout all of I Need You Dead. Sophie did special effects on this as well, and she would return for I Need You Dead and also had a role in making Meat Lovers, so had been around once or twice. So it really was the culmination of the Bad Taste team, and our first real crew was on Mike Michael Motorcycle, having other crew people have titles and not just Rocko helpers like they were in previous productions.
Yep, jumping away from a past that Rocko and I both had of being the movie guy, and you have to convince all of your friends to want to be a part of it. This kind of marked the start of surrounding yourself with really the most passionate people you know and feeling so invigorated by it. That everybody has a job and they're that focused on that job, and everybody pulled through on this. It was a really quick shoot with very minimal budget, and we got very lucky with these locations and the kinds of shots we were able to get out of them.
Yeah, shooting this thing was absolutely a manic nightmare. There's so much happening in such a short amount of time. It's a completely loaded story. We have so many different locations that we had to shoot in, and we had no storyboards at all. We were super unprepared. It was very run and gun. I think we were all just kind of high on the fumes of working with a real team, and maybe a little too gung-ho that we were going to be able to just do it all with very little preparation. Meeting at McDonald's every morning of the shoot, being like, hey, what do we got to get done today, and how are we going to do it? You know, shooting at my old high school, shooting at the Burger King that I used to be an assistant manager at, you know, shooting in Sophie's house, you know, for Michael's room. I mean, it was really just like, hey, what are the resources that we have? Who do we know? How can we get these spots? Oh, okay, there's an alleyway right next to Sophie's house. Let's just shove my car there, grab the smoke machine, and just set up this car accident moment here, you know, and totally disregard that there's a business attached to it, and they actually lived in the business and were trying to sleep while we were filming this thing, and we're coming out being like, hey, when are you guys gonna be done? We like live here.
Yeah. Night before, oh, we need the high school to look like a busy high school. Message everyone you know.
I mean, yeah, like Brooke said, we got lucky. Like, one of our extras who came had a motorcycle. He drove there on a motorcycle, and we were just like, oh.
Michael, oh, yeah.
There's our missing piece. So we had him drive the motorcycle in front of Michael, and that was pure luck. We got a really great looking, I mean, the front of the school is arguably the best looking part of the whole damn thing. It looks like a real movie.
Yeah, easy. I mean, in general, you know, in terms of performances, we got very lucky. We didn't have a dead man, and Kevin, AD, jumped in on that too, and Esteban just killed it as Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a fun test for what would be I Need You Dead in the future, to have, you know, Esteban in this leading role as kind of this like reject teenager type punk kid. And yeah, the complications of not having our zombie was a very stressful moment on set. We were originally slated to have Quentin Hayes, who was one of the cult members in Meat Lovers, who gets the saw to the neck blood geyser effect, was supposed to come and play that character. Totally bailed out on us, and we just looked at Kevin and we were like, please, man, can you just like jump in this? And he did a great job. Yeah. He's got a great dead face.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He does the dead guy very well. Yeah, special effects, Sophie also did a fantastic job on. I left set every day covered in fake blood and with candy glass just stuck to the bottom of my shoe.
Yeah.
But I was loving it.
Yeah, this was the first time that we got to work with Sophie in a special effects kind of way. Sophie had been, again, a cultist in Meat Lovers. A lot of these people came from Meat Lovers, and Sophie had talked to me previously before shooting Mike Michael about how she was watching us, you know, RJ and I doing that special effects work on Meat Lovers, and was like, I don't want to be like in this makeup. I want to be doing that. I want to be doing the special effects. And Mike Michael Motorcycle was that first time that she was able to collaborate with us in an effects kind of way, which was super exciting. This, in terms of production value, definitely was a huge step up from Meat Lovers, despite not having, you know, a bunch of gore effects or anything. But just the way that, you know, that it got cut together, I think there's a certain jump in maturity in my own editing style from Meat Lovers to this. Obviously, the biggest downfall, I think, of this video is just the fact that, you know, once we were actually done with shooting, Brooks and I stop talking. Like, we didn't realize that we still needed to work together into post-production. You know, this was a huge transition point from Meat Lovers. In many ways was kind of the last project that I really just carried on my shoulders, just like totally. And this project really was kind of the first Bad Taste Video team project, where we really had those crews holding very, you know, heavy responsibilities, each and every one of us on each shoot day. And I think that I didn't realize that that needed to cross over into post. And so that was kind of the lesson learned.
We were ending each day so exhausted, and it was brutal, but the reward at the end was this kind of promise that there was more work in the future, and I was excited to up the ante.
Yeah, I think we were all really excited off the fumes of this, and I think, you know, we really were ambitious. We shot so many different bits, and ultimately the biggest problem while I was cutting this together was there was just too much, and we had to cut out a lot of stuff. We had to cut out, there's a sequence of Daniel falling down the stairs when he's going to bust Michael, and I mean, it was hilarious. It was a hilarious shot, but it was just like, again, like we were really excited and ambitious and just shooting a lot of stuff that, you know, didn't make the cut. If only the song was like 5 minutes long.
Oh, yeah.
We sent it to Lloyd once it was done, and he was like, it's great, but I had to watch it twice to even keep up with it. And Lloyd's one of the most crazy manic people I know.
Oh, yeah.
I think he'd be able to follow it all, but
Yeah.
you know, despite its flaws, Michael, you know, brought us together at Burger King. My old job there, I managed to convince the co-worker I had who was working there at the time to come out and to get this shot of him waving his arms around, and then he went into the back and got us a bunch of chicken, like leftover chicken nuggets and chicken strips and patties and ranch dippings.
Yeah. And I remember it was freezing cold too. It was like 38 or something.
It was super cold, and we all piled into one of our cars.
Yeah. And
just started chowing down all this Burger King slop.
he brought out all the stale, cold remnants from the last shift at Burger King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were, I think, all very excited to.
It couldn't have
chow
tasted any
down.
better.
It
Free
tasted
food
great.
after a shoot like that really tastes very good.
Yeah, it was a great release in that moment, and we were sitting there in that trunk, and I was just like totally blown away by the experience of making this, and just like how big in scope it was, but how smooth it was, because we had shot this in like 3 days, and the scope of it was so much bigger than Meat Lovers, but Meat Lovers took me like almost a year. And in that moment, I really realized the power of having an effective team, and even more so, just having like an extremely motivated partner in what I was doing. And it just became very clear to me that if I was going to make I Need You Dead as big as I wanted it to be, like, I knew that I needed like Brooks to be there. And so I asked him, I was like, will you shoot I Need You Dead with me, this feature film?
Yeah, so we're maybe 30 minutes from wrapping this video that was, frankly, some of the hardest work in video I'd ever done. And he goes, how about 2 hours of this? And frankly, it did scare the shit out of me.
A 2-hour runtime.
Right,
instead of a
right.
2-minute runtime.
So the scope had amplified like hell, but yeah, the prospect of challenging ourselves in that way, and knowing that I'd never been surrounded by more talented people and hardworking people in my life, and Rocko at the helm gathered all these people, and I had faith in him to gather more. It was really hopeful moving forward, and yeah, I mean, this was the origin point of everything we do now.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, when I asked him that, I was like totally like, he's gonna say no. Like, this whole thing has just been kind of like a nightmare making this thing. Everyone's exhausted. I mean, that moment of me asking you to do I Need You Dead, I mean, it was, in a lot of ways, it was kind of like I was figuratively asking for the world to like actually come in, split this deal with me, and it wouldn't just be my movie anymore, and a lot of other people would have to carry a lot of responsibility. And yeah, like you said, I mean, this video is really the birth of Bad Taste Video, I Need You Dead happening, and where the Bad Taste team is today. And yeah, what our mantra is, making music videos and short films, and what we want to keep doing. And yeah, I mean, it was just a wonderful experience, and there will be many more to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so thanks for tuning in to this commentary on Mike Michael Motorcycle. I hope you enjoyed, got a little inside look into how it came to be and how it got us where we are today and where it will take us.
Ups and downs and all arounds, and see you on the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you on the next Bad Taste Video Patreon exclusive commentary series number 2. Bye bye. Bye bye. Matane. Bye bye.